Welcome back to the Unranked Podcast. We have another episode here. Going to kind of just, go kind of fast with a bunch of topics here. Starting out first with OBJ and, him just getting released earlier this week. I think it's official today. Today it's official that off of waivers. So, just kind of want to throw the topic to you, get your thoughts on OBJ's tenure with the Browns and, kind of where we stand.
I'm not going to lie to you. For like a quick half hour, I'm like, maybe the Lions will budge. Maybe they'll just, you know what I'm saying? Like, that wide receiver room is thin. I thought they were just, at least kind of entertain the idea. But as soon as I was thinking that, people kind of came out and said, like, it's going to be an issue if he goes to a team that's not a contender. So that came and went. But, I think
it's crazy. That to him personally.
Huh?
I wouldn't want to do that to him. I was kind of hoping they would.
Yeah. I know. That was just me being selfish. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just wanted, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool to see him in there, for a few weeks. But no, it's weird, man. Like you watch, like, it's just so crazy how it came to that point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you watch like guys like Derek Carr just target like Darren Waller like 15 times a game. You see guys like Aaron Rodgers, it's going at the same guy and it's like no issue. And for some odd reason, I mean, him and Baker just couldn't get it figured out. Now they were saying, I guess, like, sometimes OBJ isn't very, like, disciplined with his route running, so that might have been something else kind of like throwing off the chemistry. He's also been hurt, for quite a few, missed quite a few games over the last couple of years, so I know that hasn't really didn't help with their chemistry either, but very intrigued to see where he ends up at because I do feel like he could start. I mean, I think he could be, like, borderline wide receiver one on, like, half the teams in the league right now, easily. At least like good like 12 to 14 teams. I'd be intrigued by. There's 3 teams I think he'd be able to make like a just immediate impact. More than that, but I think there's 3 that he's going to end up going to, and I would say it's probably going to be like the Packers, the Ravens, or the Chiefs. All those teams. I mean, they're right, top of the division, right there in the mix, Super Bowl favorites in their own right. So I think. I'm excited to see where he goes because I feel like he is going to be super motivated. A lot of people have been kind of comparing his situation to Randy Moss when he left the Vikings and went to the Raiders and played really bad for like a year or two. They also like cut him, and then he ended up in New England and ended up having maybe one of his best seasons statistically. I think he scored like 20 touchdowns that year and everything. Obviously, had Tom Brady throwing him the rock. Yeah, that's insane. Had Tom Brady throwing him the ball. So that was a different story. But I would love to be able to see OBJ with like an Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson, somebody that's, like he got Eli Manning kind of on the back half of his career, still played really well. Baker Mayfield, we know who he is, just above average quarterback. So no, I'm definitely intrigued to see where he ends up at because I think he's going to be out on a mission to like really show that he's still got some left in the tank. So what do you think?
I agree. I agree with a lot of things you said. I think I'm being perfectly honest with you, just to throw this out there at first. I've never been the biggest Odell Beckham fan. I do think he is a great player, phenomenal player. I just want to throw it out there at first. But he is, I think, in an interesting spot because I think I'm in the boat where I think he is, like you said, a QB or a wide receiver 1, 2, some teams probably. But he is still a phenomenal player, still probably in his prime. And he came off a knee injury. And I would say, I think a lot of this has to be on the quarterback. And I think that will show when he gets to another spot with any of the quarterbacks you just named. I think he's in a more stable situation. And I think for whatever reason, it's just not working between him and Baker. And it's an odd pairing. And I would say you look at somebody like Eli Manning, who is a Hall of Famer, but also I would say a lot of people would probably criticize a lot of, Eli Manning's play and say he was, a below average or a right at average for most of his career. And he found a way to get, maximize Odell Beckham. And you look at Baker and he's not making it work. If you can't make it work with him, it is a weird situation. That's like one of the quarterback's dreams is to be able to have him, Odell Beckham. That is. So I think it's odd, and I would love to see him personally go to the Ravens. I think that'll blow the top off that team. They're really in desperate need of a true number one.
Yeah.
Hollywood Brown's in that one of them weird tweeners. They obviously have a couple good tight ends, but I think that'd just give a lot of juice needed to a team that's been decimated with injuries, whether at the running back or O-line or wherever the case is, just to give. And they've sitting there at 6-2. With all those injuries that they have had. And so if you bring that added playmaker, X factor to a team that's 6-2, that immediately would be the best receiver in the room. So I just think it's that's personally where I'm hoping he goes.
One thing that worries me about the Ravens is that they run the ball a lot. So, that's kind of already what the issue was in Cleveland. Not to say that he – will kind of come in just motivated and just help the team out any way he can. But the problem was he was just not getting the ball hardly at all. I'm sure Lamar would find a way to get him involved, get him the ball, things along those lines. They do end up they are a pretty run heavy team. I probably sit here
yes.
It kind of depends. They had a couple games where Lamar had to just throw the hell out of the ball because they were behind and had to just obviously work their way back into the game. But I think it would be a solid fit overall. I don't like the Chiefs. Never really been a fan. I don't respect Patrick Mahomes, but it would be kind of crazy to see what he would be able to do in that offense. Mahomes running around.
Yeah.
They don't even run the ball. They just have Mahomes throw it 50, 60 times a game. And right now
I do agree. If he wants to just get crazy statistics, might not be the best place for him. But I do think being the number one receiver on a true run team is not a bad spot. And I think just off of pure play action and the times that Lamar Jackson does have to step back and throw it, he can get a good amount of targets. And Lamar Jackson is one of them fantastic players on the run, making things happen out of nothing. And I cannot imagine how open he would be down the field and with Lamar running around and him
football
being able to get him the football. Yeah, so I think that is kind of a dream come true. And you would have to maximize your opportunities on. It would be less opportunities, but I do think they could potentially be bigger plays and more electric things happening versus being a third or fourth option in a team that does pass it 60 times.
Yeah, and I think even just the kind of chaos that would create for defenses. You got Lamar Jackson. We can definitely start to just kind of cover more, talk more about him now. What he's doing, I don't understand how he's been doing what he's been doing, and is not a favorite for more of a favorite for being MVP. And I thank you for showing me what the odds were on him winning MVP. Even though I know they want to do everything they can to give it to Brady, and all he needs, it's going to be kind of like Brady's to lose, just because what he's doing is ridiculous as well. But I just feel like Lamar Jackson. It's all the people they lost, on the offensive side of the ball, all them running backs, lost a couple people on defense, and they were staring 0-2 in the face at one point in the season, if I'm not mistaken. Ended up beating the Chiefs. They've been down 2-3 scores 3 or 4 times, different times this year, and he's still just made it happen. It's just crazy that he's still just not getting the credit he deserves.
Yeah, no. I do think he needs to be, because you talk about the MVP, and that's the most valuable player. And I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are loaded. And they haven't had any hiccups, no major injuries, no nothing. They've just been running smooth sailing versus the adversity that Lamar Jackson has been put in. And I don't know how many other quarterbacks start in that situation. That team are 6-2. Probably not many. And and I was texting you about the odds the same time as I was texting my brother about it. And Lamar Jackson is currently on pace for 4,400 passing yards, 26 touchdowns, 1,250 rushing yards, and 9 touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
It is.
That's going to put him in top 5 in both passing and rushing.
Yeah. No, I think I think he should be at least like, it was surprising seeing him pretty low on the list as far as like MVP candidates. And yeah, I mean, I feel like he's been doing way more than everybody else has kind of been doing around him.
Yep.
And they called him the LeBron James of football, to where he should kind of get it, MVP. You know, he probably should have a few MVPs by the time it's all said and done. But what he's just been doing for so long, people just kind of expected out of him.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so impressive because he's just come along so much as a passer. I mean, I don't think he's got a weakness in his game at this point. I mean, at first they tried to knock him on passing. Then they tried to say he couldn't come from behind. Defense is trying to – I can't say this all laughing. They tried to say they had him figured out, you know, as far as, like, stopping him and whatnot. And he's literally – I mean, there's guys – I mean, I can pretty much name off – there's a couple of quarterbacks out there that, you know, they're – like Brady and Rodgers, you know, they kind of can – you know, they don't really have a weakness at this point. If you rush Brady up the middle, you know, that's kind of like what his weakness is. Rodgers, I mean, I don't know, like, I don't really see him having a weakness, but there is like Lamar Jackson has pretty much like proved everybody wrong as far as they've tried to say that he can't, what he can and can't do this far. And it's been great to see, especially with like just a really put together supporting cast. He's got like Le'Veon Bell, Devontae Freeman, kind of like, you know, older running backs kind of like on the end of their career, towards the end of their career, and they haven't really skipped a beat since.
Yeah, no, I just think it's very impressive that they're sitting at 6-2. And if you,
especially in that division,
yeah, and if you like I just said, you swap out a lot in that division. You swap out a lot of other quarterbacks, and they're, you know, obviously they have a unique offense, but they're not in a similar circumstance, similar situation, and doing it with what he has. He doesn't have offensive weapons like other players, like a Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes or whoever, you know, or even
Brady got 3 number ones.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And So, and phenomenal defense. So, you know, it's just it's pretty interesting. But just to give, I looked it up, but Brady is on pace for 50 touchdowns, 10 picks, 5,300 yards. So
at 44 years old.
Yeah. So obviously he's doing his thing this year, but it it is interesting to see, him in his latter part of his career, still kind of putting it all together. It's kind of very odd, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. Part of me is just like, are they going to come out like 3-4 years from now and be like, yeah, you know, he was taking like performance enhancers this whole time? That like, that's jokingly, but I mean, we just know that he's just one of them guys. He'd be in bed by like 8 o'clock, up at 4 a.m., doing all the treatment and everything, just like eating, you know, perfectly, this, that, and the third. But yeah, I mean, just watching him, like, he might end up winning me fantasy football this year, just because. And I didn't really have expectations for him because I'm like, he's 44 years old, but he's already thrown for like over 350, like 3 or 4 times this year, like 3 or 4 touchdowns. And they got some injuries on offense. And they got Antonio Brown. So as soon as he get back and get healthy, it might even get scarier. But back up Lamar, I like there's a lot of ball left to play, and he's got a real opportunity. He plays Miami this Thursday. I think he plays Chicago next week. He has the Browns like back to back. Like he has the Browns like week 12, week 14.
Okay.
So if he's able to, you know, put together another ridiculous stretch, you know, just have like a fantastic month of November, I think he'll definitely, you know, kind of work his way in, because you do start to see as the year goes on, you know, Stafford, we love Stafford. He's had a couple of like, you know, games where he started to kind of, you know, not play as well. Even, you know, Brady played great against the Saints, but, you know, he ended up throwing 2 picks and fumbling. You know, you got like some guys, you know, injuries started to play a factor. I mean, we would have all thought Derrick Henry might have been MVP before he got, you know, he was actually, you know, looking like, you know, he might be in the mix as well. So a lot of season left to go. Yeah, I do think Lamar gonna work his way back in. You know, he'll work his way into that top 3 once end of the season comes up.
Yeah, no, I'll be willing to. Well, I did bet on him, but I'd be willing to bet on him. And I think he's sitting in a good spot. You know, he got that rolling. You know, and I'm just gonna kind of throw you a curveball here. You know, we talk about injuries and talk, people playing in the latter half of their careers. You know, playing well and playing at high levels. You know, into their 30s and 40s. You know, what's up with the Lakers and LeBron? You know, what as our official.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think LeBron, he's just showing like all them minutes, all them games he played, from 18 until 35, 36, like it's just starting to kind of take a toll. I think I went on record saying at this point, I'm like, what are the chances that Russ gets traded before the season is over? Like, they don't figure it out, but that is literally trying to put, like, what do they say? What's the term? They put like a square peg into a circle or something. Yeah, a round hole. Like, I don't like that fit at all. I thought they were going to be more of just kind of like keeping everybody they had last year and just trying to maybe, trade a couple guys and get Buddy Hield. Like, that was somebody, like, people don't, like, Buddy Hield got work. Like, they said he has like the second most games with more than 5 3-pointers, like out of active players like in the league. Like, Steph has like 100 and something, but Hill got like 90, and he's come off the bench like in Sacramento. So that's already kind of like, I don't know. I would have liked that like fit a lot more than what they're kind of dealing with now. Right now, the team looks like a 2013 like all-star team. Like, I'm not a DeAndre Jordan fan. Kent Bazemore can literally, he just needs to go sit in the locker room and not come out ever again. Like, I'm not a Bazemore fan at all. There are some guys that are hurt, that haven't played yet, like Orton Tucker, Kendrick Nunn. You're gonna laugh at me for saying this, but they should have found a way to keep Caruso. I think he's showing it. He's not a fluke. You know what I'm saying? Like, they put him right in there over in Chicago. I mean, he's doing like his, 8, 4, and 5 a game, playing great defense.
No, I give it to you. So I do. What do you think that potentially all these moves to win now has came back to bite the team as a whole? Like, would they be in a better spot if they would have kept all the young guns? Would they be in a better spot if they didn't make moves?
I think Kuzma, Schroeder, and Montrez would have ended up having to go regardless. But I think that's probably all that should have had to go. Like, that they should have let go. I feel like everybody else in that team was like a good, solid piece. I don't see these guys like sustaining. I mean, these guys are old, load management gonna come in. I feel like they could have definitely kept quite a few pieces from that team last year. Maybe made a one trade. I think they could have got Buddy Hield or signed DeMar DeRozan and kept it pushing. Only pickups I love was Melo and Malik Monk and Nunn. Howard, he's cool, but now he's even kind of just like raising hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of personalities.
I agree.
Even
before that, what about the young cast before that? The Lonzo, Josh Hart. If you would have a hodgepodge of somewhere between those two rosters, I think you would be in a phenomenal place right now. But
I
say 2020, but I think I just think it's interesting to see all of those young players flourish, and then they got very old, and then with LeBron out there to, lack of a better term, kick these motherfuckers to success, it's kind of just horrible to watch.
I don't know. They definitely put themselves in a weird spot this year. When it comes to like, giving up Lonzo and all them, I mean, they essentially traded all them for a championship, so it's like whatever. But like, I think the team last year, they definitely had a lot of injuries and whatnot. I'm not a fan of this team.
And we did talk about that before. I did forget about that. Not the championship, but how just making that trade for the championship probably made it worth it, because if how hard one is to come by.
That was, I'm a big Lonzo guy. Like, Brandon Ingram's been doing his thing. Randall, it wasn't gonna make sense because basically LeBron was coming and taking his spot. He wasn't gonna be sitting behind LeBron. But it's good seeing these guys. Lakers definitely knew what they was doing as far as drafting. But, like I said, the trade-off was definitely worth it. But now it's going to be one of them things where LeBron will be gone in a couple of years. They could be looking real crazy. See what it comes down to as far as with AD. I mean, the dude is kind of constantly limping. Something always is just hurting. Like, he's just I like him a lot, but it's it's just kind of weird to watch.
It is odd. It is super odd. And that's the dude that was number one in our class. That's but it is odd because he is so great, but he also
gets in his own way.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's great, and he just kind of doesn't really want to play how he has to play. You know, he's like great reluctantly. Like he's like all right, I guess I give you like 24 and 11 because I have to do it this way. But I'd much rather be.
You'd rather be taking jump shots and dribbling down the court, playing shooting guard, which like I don't know. Somebody, I mean, I'm sure LeBron sat him down and been like, bro, like can't nobody stop you when you in the paint on the block. Like obviously he got a good outside jump shot. I mean, he can definitely, you know, that's definitely something that's in his arsenal. If he was just a smidge more aggressive, like a man should be averaging 30 and 15, no problem at all.
And I also think, yeah, I agree with that. And he's good enough, you would think, to be able to make it work while LeBron's hurt, or just make it work, period, with what the team they have to. So you know, makes you question, you know, if he could be a number one, you know.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, I mean, they might have to. For what it's worth, I'm a LeBron guy. I'm not really even a Lakers, like, you know.
No, you're stuck with him. If LeBron retires here, you're stuck with him.
But, yeah, that team's going to go pretty much. I mean, it's going to be real interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years. But I think the way they went around this free agency, I mean, like, trading for Russ, that kind of even tells you the fact that he was just that available. That's very telling. And I like Russ. You know, it's crazy watching him. It's crazy watching him play. He's just not like his like, you know, averaging triple doubles is cool, but that always don't translate to like winning basketball. So it's just one of them things where he's like, I mean, he can't hit. I mean, he's shooting like 22% from three, something crazy. I mean, it's just a really, really weird fit. Yeah. That I think they'll make it happen. But I mean, I don't know. If I'm Pelinka, you might at least got to make some calls. I don't know, because I mean, you know, LeBron ain't gonna sit around and remember what he did when he was in Cleveland this last year. All them dudes they had, Rose and D Wade and Isaiah Thomas and all these guys.
Yeah.
We looked up and they was all traded, and he just ended up kind of taking over again.
I kind of see that happening.
I do too.
I do, but I think he has to come back first. But
yeah,
but
it's interesting because they say this might be like a month-long injury. So I mean, and
it's weird. I still haven't seen the player, whatever, like when it happened. But it went from like a week to like a month to. It sounded like some weird shit, like an abdominal pull or something. But
yeah, I mean, it's like who knows? I mean, it kind of reminds. That's how Kobe was towards the end of his career. It was just like every little thing. I mean, you know, he was lucky to. I mean, we just need Bron to play like 60, 65, I say even more 55, 60. Yeah. And just get him into the playoffs.
He brought up all the minutes, and he was one of them, you know, soldiers, like invincible. He never missed.
Yeah.
He probably missed 10 games in 10 years. He probably
that. I mean, the one year it always sticks out to me the most. I mean, this is probably like his best season I ever seen him play personally. Was that year before he left Cleveland. I mean, he was playing 42 minutes a game, averaging like 28, 9 and 9, and yeah, he had to play all 82 because they were like the 6th or 7th seed coming into after the All-Star break, and they shipped all them guys out. So he had to kind of play that much to work them back into a situation where they're even going to be, you know, a decent seed to you know, when the playoffs started off. But
yeah, he ain't missed no games.
Yeah,
looking like 3 games, 2 games, 3 games, 4, 7, 1, 20, 5, 8. It's like
yeah, right.
That's wild.
Well, I mean, yeah, obviously it's a dumpster fire in Lakerland. I do feel like the Nets are starting to kind of figure it out a little bit. I still Harden to me is just like
I think they just lost interest. I don't think they care.
I think they're bored. I do think they're pretty bored. Getting smacked by 20, and it's still early, but we offer the early overreactions. That's what, you know, that's what the sports world is. To me, like, I mean, it's just interesting because I just feel like, and I say this with all the respect in the world to KD, but he's like the most like nonchalant superstar I think I've ever seen. Like, you can just tell like his whole demeanor. He just like, because he just genuinely like wants to hoop. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like for him, it's like he like, well, we ain't got full strength. Like Kyrie probably gonna be here the whole year. Looking at how the East is set up, Harden just, we know why Harden is struggling because he's not getting all them little BS calls that he was getting. But even then, like I just think about that play I think I showed you when the ball went off his leg against the Pistons. Right. He's just like watching the He looked like very disinterested. I don't know. Like I think we've only kind of seen Bron just kind of like BS all season long and then kind of just turn it on. Like I don't know. It's kind of like he's kind of like one of the only guys that can kind of do that. I think KD has that in him as well. But it's just gonna be interesting to see like with Harden and kind of how that other team, because I feel like they kind of like how the Lakers are, got a lot of old heads.
Well, yeah, you said that because we've seen LeBron do it 10 times.
Yeah,
we've seen KD do it a handful of times. That's the only people in the league we've ever seen do it.
Yeah,
currently in the league,
Yeah.
So James Harden has zero individual success.
He hasn't been to the final once.
Yeah,
and
once with like when he was super young, and that was KD's team.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's and I even too. Even that team, you got Paul Millsap. He looks like he's about a year. He's probably done next year. LaMarcus Aldridge. He's been playing pretty well. Blake. He's besides getting hip tossed by Isaiah Stewart the other night. I think he's been doing okay. Yeah. And then I know they kind of like. I feel like they kind of was like putting Joe Harris on this pedestal to be like this like sharpshooter, and I feel like ever since some guys showed up, he's kind of been, at least in the playoffs, like he didn't do anything.
Nothing.
And then like even throughout the season, I feel like he kind of just was.
If he would have gave like 70% of what he was given in the regular season, that would have been enough.
Yeah, So they, obviously they thought.
Just to dive in, just being perfectly honest, I think. I couldn't explain to you anything with the Kyrie situation. That's fucking, it's just your guess is as good as mine. It's fucking, but
he might get such to the All-Star team and play the All-Star game, and that's it for the season. That's what they're saying. He's on the ballot.
yeah, I can see that. And a bunch of people probably vote for him out of like protest. But
there wasn't that one guy one year, just like always get a whole bunch of votes. It's like what?
No. So just to get back to it, So with him, I don't know. And like you said, the Joe Harris situation, I think they kind of shot themselves in the foot too, because if they would have – I think they probably had to trade for James Harden because they could have not foreseen everybody getting hurt and all that falling apart. But if they would have never traded for him and they still had that same young squad and Kyrie was just holding out now, they would still be perfectly fine. If they had to still Karis LeVert and Dinwiddie and all them – boys out there. I think it's in a weird spot. And I think just to sum it up real quick, James Harden, he's frustrated. He seems slightly out of shape. He seems frustrated with the calls.
Yeah.
KD, every time I open Twitter, I seem like KD getting millions of dollars from this investment and that investment. He probably he don't care either probably.
KD not no 20-year career.
New York probably just cleaning up on deals left and right.
Yeah.
And basketball, so such to say, but I think are they good enough to still turn it on and be a fourth seed and make it out the East? Yeah, if they wanted to, but I just don't know. I'm saying now, I just don't know if they're even interested enough as a unit. They're not hungry. They don't seem hungry like other people still.
Yeah.
Like you watch Luka play, he seems hungry. You watch the Hawks, they all seem hungry, whoever. But
I think man. But when you made a point about all the players they had, because I remember I sent you a screenshot. It was like, LeVert, D'Angelo Russell, like Joe Harris. When what sucks is like, because it was kind of like in the situation for the Lakers. So they worked out for the Lakers, basically shipping off the whole future to get that chip.
Mm-hmm. Like they would have got it last year, it would have worked. But
that's where, and even like that year prior, they ended up like shipping them guys off, and then like they didn't even have KD. They only had Kyrie like half the year, so it's like it's just tough because that window is open for only so long. And they, I couldn't even. I mean, I can't even call them like the best. I would think I'd take the Heat, or the Bucks maybe. Probably the Heat for sure over them right now. And it's, like I said, super, super early. Like, so much can happen between now and the playoffs. But it's just interesting watching these teams.
We're like a 10-game sample size, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's early, but, we're talking like enough sample size to see who's coming out hot like the Warriors.
Yeah.
Who's hungry like the Hawks. Who's going. Luke's still hitting game winners. So it's that type of stuff, and then seeing team fall flat on their faces. It's the Nets or the Lakers or whoever.
So I'll tell you, because like what the difference is even between both of those teams, Lakers and the Nets, is like teams that got better. Like they got better, and they don't have these like old cats, that signed the vet minimum because of like three of their main guys got 75% of the salary cap, already taken. I mean, the Warriors, they've drafted well, and they get Clay back, and however they want to play that, with Poole coming off the bench or playing Poole next to Clay, they gonna get scary real quick, and they get Wiseman back too. And then with the Heat, I mean, Kyle Lowry, he definitely, he'll down the stretch, he'll definitely be, he'll definitely help. And Hero, he heard the talking on Twitter, so he's come out super motivated. Very, very early, but yeah, I mean, it's, the two teams we thought was going to kind of meet, after when it's all said and done in June, it's looking a little grim as of right now.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just hoping, this is probably the hottest take of the year, but I wouldn't be shocked if they were like, all right, Russ, bro, I don't, we thought this was going to work. You're not even showing that you can score off the ball, turn over the ball quite a bit. And I'm probably super wrong. And I'm mostly saying it because I kind of still want to find a way to get Buddy Hield some way, somehow. But we'll see. We're going to see.
No, I feel you on that. You're going to trade him to Joe Harris and Kyrie Irving.
Trade him to the Nets. What's so funny, man, is even between both those teams is I think I told you before, it's going to go from we're past that who can win, with the least amount of help, or who can win, based on situation. Now it's
war of attrition.
Who can win more with who? Yeah. LeBron was able to get one with Kyrie. Can KD try to get one with Kyrie? Can he get one with Kyrie and Harden? KD ran out on Russ. Can LeBron get Russ one?
No.
Just KD didn't get him one?
No, I'm gonna just say this. Just if we're giving hot takes, and I don't even know how high of a take this is, but I think I'm a Warriors believer. I think that motherfuckers can do it.
I do too. It's scary.
Yeah. They played their cards right. They played their cards right. They didn't panic. They kept people. They always found a way to get draft picks and shit. I mean, I don't know. They played it right.
I mean, Steph dropping 50 on a Monday night, a month to the season. You know what I'm saying? He is super motivated, and I love watching Jordan Poole run around on them picks, just like how with Draymond, just like how Steph be doing it, and with Clay if Clay is even 75% of what he used to be, I'm hoping because I don't really like the Warriors, but I do love Clay. I do love Draymond. I'm hoping Clay come back just firing, because I know he already motivated for not getting on that top 75 team. He had to sit out for 2 years. And it's unfortunate, got the Achilles KD looked good, a couple years later with his Achilles. So you would hope the same for Clay as far as coming back. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. You look how they was giving the Lakers all them issues last year in that play-in. They had all them injuries, and whenever you got Steph out there, Steph and Draymond, you got a puncher's chance every time.
Yeah. Was it Achilles then knee, or knee then Achilles?
It was an ACL in the finals, and then but then he missed all 2020, and then before the season started last year, he tore the Achilles in warm-ups or some shit, or just So I think it's on different leg too. Which
people tore their his Achilles in the final.
No, KD tore his Achilles, and then Clay, he had just tore his in training.
Oh, the year after. I was about to say.
That was the year he tore his because KD tore his Achilles in Game 5, and then Clay tore his ACL in Game 6 when they went back over to Golden State.
Yeah.
So that was, that was kind of crazy watching them crumble like that. Not crumble, just like not have enough. Just
Just popped off.
It's crazy. I mean, because they went to the finals 5 years,
something like that.
Some 5 straight years, something crazy. So
I agree. It's a great basketball season. Like it's great. Like basketball season, it kind of is taking over. I find myself casually watching more basketball than I do football. And, So it comes on, and it's it's just always exciting. So
it's helpful too. Like during the week, it's like now at first it was just Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday for football. Now you got like the Tuesday, the Wednesday.
Yeah.
I love watching when they on TNT. That's probably like when they play Tuesday, Thursday nights. Probably some of my favorite games to watch. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to like Christmas Day. That's around the corner. As far as that's always a good slate of games they're gonna have. Hopefully, we're able to get. We're not gonna see the full Nets team. We're not gonna see them ever again, possibly. But hopefully, we're able to get LeBron for Christmas Day to, to have that matchup.
That's true.
In prime time.
That's probably like the return. No, you say a month, so probably like that put him at the beginning. Yeah, he would definitely probably be right. You would hope so. Or that's like.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know, bro. Like even last night, up like 12-14 in the fourth, won in overtime. But it's like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah.
Like I don't like, and Russ is just like, I get it. He's home. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to like, play a perfect game every time. But he also just like,
bro, he crip walked on the court. He crip walked on the court the other day and got to travel.
I didn't know that.
I swear.
Yeah, see, I mean,
and I'm gonna send you the video, but he was my man was I forgot the song, but whatever the song by Mac 10 came on, and he crip walked, but he traveled.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, man. Like I said, it's so early. I mean, they're gonna look the Lakers they're gonna be a different team, aka different players, and they also gonna be a whole different, like from like a chemistry perspective.
Yeah, no, yeah, man.
Because I'm like everybody. Honestly, like only person like Melo got to stay, Rondo got to stay, Bays, Howard. Howard can stay. Jordan got to go. I think Jordan's gonna get phased out. I think what's gonna happen is like some of these players, so they don't get bought out from some of these other teams. Like a K Love might, get bought out later on in the year if they're not doing too well. I don't think he's playing that much. I don't think he's even playing that much right now for the Cavs. They look way better without him. I think they're gonna definitely LeBron gonna be like, he already on the phone with Rob right now. Like, bro, like this is crazy. Like, you're not.
This ain't working. No, I feel you on that. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely will. Yeah, I mean, I kind of wanted to just chat a little bit about NBA or Michigan basketball too. I think, and I just say this, I don't, obviously a lot of these rankings don't matter very early on. I think it's kind of crazy if they were only like sixth. There's a couple of schools in front of them that I didn't really think.
I can't even see the full rankings. But,
yeah, I know it's Gonzaga 1, UCLA 2, Kansas 3. I forgot who's at 4, but I know 5 for sure is Texas. And if I'm not mistaken, Kansas and Texas got bounced like first, second round in another tournament. And I know that's probably not what they base it off of, but to me it's just like,
yeah,
we already saw what Michigan was going to be. I mean, they lost Livers, obviously, but, I mean, they were definitely what we thought they were.
Yeah, we got the whole team back on that.
They got the only person they lost was – or only people they've lost was Wagner and Livers and Mike Smith, but they've gotten better.
Yeah, we got Eli Brooks back, Dickinson back, Isaiah Johns, Brandon Johns.
Yeah, Brandon Johns. And then
Houston, which was like a top 5 recruit.
Yep.
I can't think of my man's name. He's a French dude. His name is Musa.
Oh, Musa. I think it's Diakite.
Yeah, my man, beast.
Yep. And then the dude Devontae Jones that's going to take Mike Smith's spot. I think he was a Player of the Year in the Sun Belt. He played for like Coastal Carolina. So it's all good though. I think it's gonna be one of them things. The last couple of years, Michigan came in unranked, and they just started just like going nuts. Hopefully, they just still kind of take this as disrespect and just kind of come out guns blazing.
I'm just ready to see. I'm excited. I think we got a good thing going where I think we know what our identity is, and it's just, can you stop it? And I think he does a great job of having a system, but also letting the players be themselves. And we're going to give it to Dickinson till you can stop it. But also, it's exciting to see him come back another year. Probably, come back 15, 20 pounds heavier. Hopefully he'll learn to use the left about 20% more. But other than that, I think, I'm very excited to see everything that we can do. I personally think we got a phenomenal team, and hopefully they can capitalize on it. And just also Isaiah Brooks or Eli Brooks, I think him coming back for probably like his fifth year at this point, but him coming back for like his fourth or fifth year, him running that tempo, him knowing when to speed it up, when to slow it down, always can hit a timely three. He's the type of point guard that you want. A veteran guy, gonna be double-headed and can hit any shot. So
that LSU game, when they was getting everything they got, they was getting everything they needed from LSU. I mean, he hit like 5-6 threes that game, and was just really like kind of like settling everything down.
Yep.
But no, I'm with you though, man. This is definitely my favorite time of the year where like, NBA, NFL, college football, college basketball. I'm really geeked about college basketball. I got a couple good games on tonight. I know State playing right now. They're playing Kansas.
They losing by 10 right now.
Really? Then they got Kentucky and Duke, I think, at 9. And yeah, I mean, it's going to have a kind of those the Maui Invitational, the Battle for Atlantis, a lot of them tournament games. I think Michigan, they are in one of those tournaments. I think they end up playing at midnight.
Yeah, I think we always in a Maui one, but I think we're in a very interesting spot in the program. I think if we were doing full strength last year, we probably would have a banner hanging up. But we fell, lost to the hottest team in the whole tournament. So, to like a 2 points or something at the end. So, ultimately, I think we're in a great spot. That was just Howard's second year, Juwan Howard's second year coaching. So,
yep.
I think we're in a great spot. Caleb Houston, want to see what he can do.
Top 5 pick.
Top 5 pick. That's what they say. So hopefully, he come out here and play like that.
Yeah, man.
And I want the Big Ten championship again, back to back, and then go ahead and make that tournament run.
Because I can't see. I mean, I think they say the second best team is Illinois, and then like maybe Purdue.
Yeah.
But like Illinois got the best of us one good time last year. But I think Michigan will be a little bit more motivated when they see them now.
They got Cockburn still.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He made that big old hassle about transferring. He went back to the same school. Yeah. So I think Dickinson will have some for him.
Yeah, he about to get banged on.
They swore up and down that they should have been Big Ten champs, but it don't work like that.
Yeah.
So I think Howard is just like, he kept the receipts and
yeah.
They were doing a lot of talking, ended up getting bounced by, Loyola Chicago, right down the street from them in the second round. So I think
Denzel or Drew at the helm at Loyola now. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
He might be at State in a couple of years. That's my wild take. How about that?
Hey, that's very. Cause I was asking some State people, how much time Izzo got, and they're saying 3 to 4 years. Man, that's perfect. If he can mess around and get Loyola Chicago.
I tried to bring that up last week, but I couldn't find a way to work it in. But I do think that could happen. Like,
yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah,
that'd be real dope.
But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what we can put together.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually plan to get into I've never been to the Chrysler Center, so I got to get to a game this year.
Okay. Yeah, gotta make that one happen. Pistons game. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, you got anything else for the people?
That's all, man. That's all.
Yes, sir. We'll be live from Cancun next weekend. No, that's fine. No, but we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be back at you next week.
Yep. Till next time.